Hello and welcome to this expert talk where we dive deep into real-world digital transformation stories. I'm Markus and today we will talk about innovative ways to build the perfect hybrid IT landscape. To answer this question, I'm happy to welcome Thomas Henzler, who is the CIO of Blowers and Compressors GmbH, a global leader in the industrial blower technology. Hello Thomas, welcome.
Hello Markus, thanks for having me here and the chance to speak with you about our Cloud ERP journey.
The honor is also on my side, Thomas, welcome. And let's talk about Pillar, who is a world-renowned name in a very specialized field. And could you tell us a little bit about your business and what key challenges led you to rethink your ERP strategy?
Sure. So first of all, Pillar is a mid-sized family-owned business. So we are headquartered in Germany with subsidiaries around the world. So for example, in China, India, etc. So as you mentioned, we are very specialized, or in other words, we are hidden champion in the area of vapor recovering. So what we are doing is we develop, design and produce customer-specific blowers for various industries. For example, the food and beverage industry. So the advantage of our product is maximizing the energy efficiency and cost savings up to 80%. So as you mentioned, we are a global company with multiple subsidiaries. One part of our company strategy is in the region for the region. So it means local value chains in our focus countries like India. So that means also for our ERP strategy that we need a tailored solution, partially located in certain countries, like China with very special local law. So, and until 2023, our approach was one central ERP system based on S/4HANA. So due to the increased importance of cloud and new innovative technologies like AI, we decided to realign our ERP strategy. So that means first, save our former investments in S/4HANA. Second, implementation of a second ERP environment based on Cloud ERP and connect so as much as possible LOB solutions to reduce the complexity in our current ERP core. And the third step is move to the cloud with our entire system landscape. That means our headquarter. So that's the strategy. Grow with Cloud ERP public in our subsidiaries. Connect as much as possible LOB solutions to reduce the complexity. Clean core in our HQ system. And after that, we will move to the Cloud ERP.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Thomas, also for this introduction. And I mean, the debate is a little bit older, as you probably know, balancing operational stability and with the need for business agility. And this often leads to the big debate, you already touched on it as well, cloud versus on-premises. And Pillar choose a hybrid path, as already explained by you. And what was the strategic thinking behind that decision, if we go a little bit deeper now?
So to be honest, there wasn't any debate about cloud or not cloud. Okay. So we know Cloud ERP is the future. Mm-hmm. So the question was the how. Based on our situation at this time, the hybrid ERP approach provided us the possibility to save our former investments and to adopt the new functionalities of a Cloud ERP system with all the included innovations like AI. So, and at the same time, we are able to discover the possibilities to learn and adapt as for Cloud ERP. And so based on that learning, we believe that we can move to the Cloud ERP in the next 5 years.
Okay, great. Thomas, if I'm also a CIO and I come to you for advice and I also consider maybe like starting a hybrid ERP landscape like your company or like you did, and where should I start? What should I avoid, and which stakeholders do I need to involve to be successful like Pillar?
Okay. First of all, you should avoid to say Cloud ERP. So it's an ERP system for our business users. And to be honest, it doesn't matter if on-prem, cloud or not. So it's an ERP system for our business users. So we made this mistake at the beginning to communicate this, yeah. And after that, we had oftentimes the situations that employees compared the solutions, yeah, the old one, the new one, or we need this functionality from the on-premises system. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a modification or not. Yeah, so therefore that was one big learning for us. Avoid to use product names and wordings like cloud or on-premise.
Okay, I see. Yes. So I already learned something. Yes. And next question also would be then, what measurable impact did the hybrid ERP strategy have on your business growth or resilience, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, measurable. So, to be honest, measurable impact is difficult to explain. Okay. So I want to emphasize the consequences if we don't do anything. So that means more effort in our daily business, for example, intercompany businesses, yeah. No overview about important KPIs and less transparency about our business transactions, and that is also a big point for us, more effort to maintain multiple ERP platforms. Yeah. So before we had 5 or 6 different ERP systems, now we have only one with Cloud ERP, and that's a big advantage for us to maintain only one ERP platform with one team.
Perfect, thank you. Thomas, are you also allowed to show your current landscape or hybrid landscape and explain it a little bit to our audience?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Yeah.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So if you can see, we are close aligned to the SAP Business Suite strategy with our modular ERP platform. So we followed this approach since 2017. It started with our S4 on-prem system, but in the end, the approach is the same. So one digital backend, now with S4 on-prem and S4 Cloud ERP, and additional solutions, so multiple LOB solutions like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Field Service Management. So, and we connected as much as possible solutions to our digital core, as mentioned, to reduce the complexity into the core. And all systems have one thing in common. That's our technology foundation. So, and our technology foundation is the glue between the systems. So as you can see, it includes, for example, SAP BTP now. Before it was the DataSphere with Analytics Cloud. Since this month, we moved to Business Data Cloud. So it's our central data modeling platform, cloud platform integration. It's very important for us for integration scenarios. SAP Build. So Build means for us process automation, build apps, WorkZone as our central internet solution. And the Launchpad is central Launchpad, for example, for ESS scenarios and own developed solutions.
Okay.
Identity management. It sounds like a small service, but in the end, it's one of the most important things in our architecture management. So to have only one digital identity per employee. So that was a big challenge to merge all the digital identities into one service. So that's necessary to use Task Center, etc., as you know. The next big point is Signavio LeanIX, Enterprise Architecture Management. Signavio is more focused on S4HANA on-premise to observe our process landscape and the most important transactions for us. And it's important for us to assess what is important for us, to evaluate what is possible into the Cloud ERP. We have to know what we are using exactly in our on-premise core. So therefore, Signavio is very important for us to discover our ERP transactions.
Okay.
So AI is the latest block or part in our foundation. Mm-hmm. So it includes Joule Studio. Joule Studio is new, so we were part of the beta phase. Mm-hmm. So and we are using Joule Studio to develop custom skills and to extend SAP Joule skills and to develop own agents. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So therefore, very important for us in the future. So DRC documented report compliance, so for e-invoicing in Germany, and for the government communication in India, for example. Yeah, it's connected to our public cloud system and on-premise system as well.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much for explaining your landscape in detail. Next question would be, you already touched a little bit on it. I think you called it the comparison factor. When you started the implementation phase or journey, what was the main difference, or what did you, because you also come from me as well, from an on-premise world, and what was the shift to the cloud? What was different during the first implementation phase?
Yeah, one word, speed. So one of the biggest benefits for us is speed. It took only 6 months to implement the solution. So I thought, okay, it's an ERP implementation. It takes 2 years or longer. Yeah. So my boss thought the same. But in the end, we were able to implement S/4 Cloud ERP together with the 2T scenario in 6 months. So for our first subsidiary in the United States. At the beginning of the journey, we had some fears regarding the different versions, and we have only one ERP team, so with limited resources. But during the Fit to Standard workshops, we realized that the necessary skills are almost the same that we need for S/4HANA on-premise and Cloud ERP. So, and we are also benefited from our BTP knowledge, for example, in integration, etc.
Okay, I see, yeah. Thomas, you also touched on the Fit to Standard workshops that were very important to you. How can I envision, or maybe to our audience, how can we envision such workshops, or how are they conducted in more detail, maybe? Maybe you can touch on that, yeah.
So to explain this, I would like to start at the beginning. So one advantage of the Cloud ERP public system was so-called the starter system. So that were available to us during the implementation. During the Fit to Standard workshop, the defined processes that we had defined in the assessment and the DDA were discussed and tested on these systems. So if there were additional requirements for the processes, these were documented in Cloud ALM. So we are using Cloud ALM since 2021, I think. We had started with health monitoring, therefore we had some experience before with Cloud ELM. So, and later we evaluated and the implementation, we did the implementation based on Cloud ELM. So at the same time, our SAP consulting, in-house SAP consultant had the opportunity to get to know the system. Yeah, so that was good for us to combine both the business users enablement and IT enablement during the Fit to Standard workshops together with our partner.
Thomas, when I first met you in Waldorf today, we walked a little bit and talked about also our talk today. I was very impressed when you told me the Fit to Standard workshops were done with an SAP partner, but the rest you implemented fully with your internal team.
Yeah.
I understood that correctly.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive.
So the approach of our partner was to enable us, and after the Fit to Standard workshops, it was our decision to say, okay, good, we can do it without you, or we need you for certain modules like finance. Yeah. So and after the first workshops, we realized, okay, good, it's very similar, and we are confident that we can do it by ourselves. And therefore in the end we decide to implement S/4 Cloud ERP with our own resources, with a little bit support from our partner in special functionalities or customizings in finance, for example, for the localization.
Thomas, you also touched a little bit before we talked, moving to the cloud also comes often with changes for the business users. How did you manage these changes? Is there an example which you could share for the most positive change moment or the most difficult, and how did you handle it?
Yeah, so a procurement process is a procurement process. It's almost the same. It doesn't matter which system. Yeah. So therefore, we didn't make any major changes to fundamental processes, like mentioned procurement. Yes. But however, the Fit to Standard workshops ensured that users were able and familiarize with themselves and with the system. Yeah. we also made a decision to discuss a little possible instead of concentrate on the essential, leaving some things as they are. If you know your company and its processes, you can take a calculated risk, and that was important for us to calculate the risk and to say, good, okay, we can discuss this 3 times, but it won't be better if we discuss 5 times or 6 times or 7 times. We do it now, yeah, and that was in the end one big success factor for us, yeah, to say, okay, good. That's a process, that's a standard process. Do you see any risks, important risks? No? Okay, good, it's fine. So, and after the go live, we observed the process very close. And if necessary, we can change some settings, but in 90% it was fine. And that was also one key to implement Cloud ERP in such a time.
Okay, I see, yeah. Yeah, 6 months is very impressive for a company like yours. And let's move maybe from the implementation phase also to the integration, suite or integration topic. And if you could also then maybe explain the specific role of the BTP that plays in your company, maybe what kind of role and how important it is.
Yeah. So as mentioned before, the BTP as our common foundation for all the system is a glue between the system. So, and I mentioned Cloud Platform Integration as a central part on our technology foundation. And we had a lot of experience before with the Cloud Platform Integration, and we needed exactly this skills for our 2-tier ERP. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and that was one important step during the project to use the existing technology like Cloud Platform Integration, master data integration, orchestration for business partners products. Yeah. So therefore BTP is key. Yeah, and also for extensibility. So as mentioned, we are using SAP Build for app development, process automation, and we used exactly this technology to extend our Cloud ERP. Mm-hmm. So without this experience, I think it were more difficult for us. But since 2017, we are focused on former BTP or SCP. We have started with the SCP for app development. Now it's a BTP, and this is key to orchestrate all the different components, BTP, Cloud Platform Integration, Build, together with the LOB solutions, and in the end with the Cloud ERP. So now it's called Business Suite.
Yes. And coming from the Business Suite to the topic of AI, I know you're a front runner. We have also worked together in that area. And can you maybe also show an example there, how you use AI in your daily work, or what kind of use cases? Maybe also you can talk about our beta testing together or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how your AI evolution worked out for Pillar, working together with SAP there. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so as mentioned, we are using SAP Build since, I think 2 years. Yes. So, and with the latest part of SAP Build with Joule Studio, we have started to develop own AI agents. So what we are doing is, at this moment, we are developing a maintenance assistant. So as you know, for manufacturing companies, after-sales business is very important. So therefore, key is to automate the process to accomplish the target of a highly efficiency process. So last year, we developed the first version of our maintenance assistant, so with a low-code UI, and SAP Process Automation and Document AI for PDF document extractions, to extract a bill of materials, material numbers from old bill of material numbers, merge these materials numbers from PDF files with the materials number in our ERP system, to get the price, to get the delivery time, task center for a final approver through our sales reps, and this all combined in one chatbot. So after the announcement of SAP Joule Studio, we decide to migrate our maintenance assistant as a skill or agent to Joule Studio. So, and this is what we did over the last 2 months. So we developed our maintenance assistant based on Joule, similar components behind. So document AI for document extractions, system integration to get material numbers, prices, etc. Task center for approvals, so it's an assistant. It need a final approval by the sales rep for a final technical step check to check the feasibility, etc., etc. So, and after that, the result is we get an almost finished quotation for the customer in our system. So, and that means before manual effort to determine the necessary spare parts, to determine the delivery time, to define the price, create the quotation with all the necessary data like a business partner, equipment, etc. And now with our first draft of an agent, we can automate this up to 60%.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a very good AI use case. I mean, 60% reduction is very, very good, Thomas. Yeah. Maybe looking at the time, maybe we move from AI, which you have very impressive results, I have to say, and shift to SAP Cloud ERP, maybe only for a certain time now. Many people I talk to still believe that manufacturing and supply chain processes do not work in a public cloud environment. What is your opinion, and what kind of processes are you using with SAP Cloud ERP in that area?
Important questions. A lot of other companies ask me the same.
Okay.
So, as already mentioned, if you know your company and the real processes, and I told the example with Signavio, to discover your system and your real needs. So if you know your real needs and processes, and if you have a comprehensive SAP architecture management, so my architecture landscape before, so it's possible to work in a public cloud environment. So since our first implementation in 2023, we have already 2 production sites implemented based on Cloud ERP. So that means it's possible, yes? And we are using almost the entire modules like quality management, sales, production, etc. But as mentioned, architecture management is key. And you need the majority of the business components, also business suite components. That means for certain scenarios, the digital manufacturing cloud, the sales and service cloud, field service management. But with this comprehensive architecture, it's possible to use Cloud ERP in a production company.
Thank you for your feedback, Thomas, in this area. And looking at your architecture or your landscape, you use best practices also to integrate, for example, external suppliers and buyers in your 2-tier or hybrid landscape scenario. What was your experience there once you activated the best practices in these areas?
Yes, that is correct. We use best practices, the so-called scope items, to simplify and automate exchanging sales documents and their follow-on messages, as well as on the procurement side. For example, in our sales processes, we were able almost out of the box to, for example, create change or cancel sales orders, send purchase order confirmations, send advanced shipping notifications, send supplier invoices, etc. And also in our return processes, we were able to create return order, also means inbound messages, return order confirmations, and send credit memos.
Thomas, this is wonderful, and it's wonderful also to hear how the technology is translating into real business value for you. and better experience for your people as well. And I'm looking ahead what's next for Pillar on the digital journey. And if I look back at our talk, I think the story from you is a very powerful blueprint for any manufacturing company as well, looking to modernize. And you've shown also that you don't have to choose between your stable, specialized core and the innovative power of the cloud. If I maybe learn 3 things today, just to summarize quickly, I think first I learned that you need a comprehensive architecture. Second, maybe know your company and its real needs and processes. And maybe third, what I took from you today is take calculated risk, what I think you do very well. And Thomas, I cannot really thank you being enough for being here today and sharing your great insights. And thank you again, Thomas. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Markus, for the chance.
Thank you. And a big thank you to all of you for watching. We hope you found this discussion as insightful as I did. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts on hybrid landscapes. And if you want to stay up to date with more stories like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. For more expert articles, discussions, and to connect with peers, visit the SAP community. And if you have a specific question for our team, you can always reach out to us directly via email at insiders4@sap.com. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next Expert Talk.